Okay, so this is yet another free Saturday morning Pilates class for our EBR Physio clients. Been running these for most of lockdown through 2020 and 21. So these are just designed to keep us going for those who regularly do exercise. There are variations within it, but you've got to make sure that whatever you do, these exercises should never hurt. Okay, so we're going to start with just a couple of stretches to warm up our backs before we get going. So the first one, lying down on your mat or on a comfortable surface, holding behind your knee and just pulling that up towards your chest. Holding that for a second or two, should feel a stretch in your bottom. And then doing alternates. Again, to the point of stretch, not pain. Going to do around 5 to 6 with each leg. If you're getting back pain, you can bend the other leg up so you don't get as much strain. And after the 5 or so on that side, you want to have arms outstretched, both knees up, and then just rolling off to the side till you feel a stretch or a little discomfort, not through pain, but to pain. Hold that again for a second or two, slowly back up and through, and to the opposite side. It doesn't matter how far you get, you only want to go to the point of strain or pain. It doesn't matter if you've only gone halfway. Either way, you just want to get a stretch. Doing that one, we're going to do opposite sides, and then sides, and then down. So only do which of those 3 is easier for you. So I'm doing a squeeze, lifting arms and bottom, lifting one leg out, try to keep your pelvis equal, keep the squeeze on, lift the other one, and come down. And again, Ryan, quite hard.
Without kicking the cat.
Yes, try not to kick the cat, please. We might have to have the RSPCA involved otherwise.
He's hiding under the chair.
And as they say at the end of movies, that if you've got time to sit and watch the credits, although Zara's a little bit scared of watching credits, there were no animals harmed in the making of this, what do you call it, exercise class.
People, yes, animals, no.
Well, that's exactly right. We all remember, of course, that very sad thing of the stuntman when they were filming in Thailand for The Hangover Part 2, where the stuntman had his head out the car and unfortunately he is no more.
Oh.
I cannot believe that they left that scene in that movie.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Decapitation?
Well, they didn't play the decapitation, but they did play the scene going up to where he then unfortunately was killed.
Oh.
So,
That'll be a tribute.
a little bit irreverent, I would have thought. Okay, last one of the double.
Oh, enough there.
And gently down. Okay, we'll pop the ball down for a moment. Moving to just another stretch. So this time both arms up, both knees up, and this time looking at your hands and rolling hands and knees opposite direction. Slowly back up. And again, down the other way. So a bit different to the stretch before. That just brings the fulcrum up a bit higher. For those of you wearing bra, you should feel it around your bra line. With the changes in restrictions in rural Victoria, we can see that physios are now only allowed to have hydrotherapy. They haven't been allowed to do any other indoor classes yet. And unfortunately, they are still deemed to be only essential treatments. So there is some lobbying going on to the Victorian government to try and change that, which will hopefully flow on when it comes back to metropolitan Melbourne. Alrighty, this time grabbing the band, lassoing one foot. So going through the toys this morning. Now, the shorter you hold the band, the harder this exercise is. You want the other leg down, hold the band up towards your chest, and kick out. So your arms should stay still. If you're struggling, if you breathe in as you kick out, that will also make somewhat better involvement of your core. Now, still while we've got the band around that foot, I've got on my right foot, so I'm moving both bands together into my left hand. With a straightish leg, what we want to do is push that leg out to the side. So you're starting from up above you, as high as your leg will allow. My hamstring's a bit tight, so you can see I'm not up fully straight. And pulling out. Again, I'm holding my left hand against my ribs, and my right leg is pushing out to the side. Couple more of those. Then we're going to swap the band to the other foot. We're going to do those same two exercises now on the opposite foot. Lasso your foot, again holding the band as short as you're happy with. Other leg down straight. Hold your arms up near your ribs and push out or kick out. Perfect. Yep. Groaning makes you feel better.
Got cramp in the other leg.
Well, if you're getting cramp, pull your toes back. That will decrease your cramp.
Oh, up near my hip.
And then like on the other side, I've got it in my left, around my left foot, so I'm now holding it with my right hand, holding that up near my ribs, and with a straightish leg, taking that foot right out towards the ground. I say straightish because I'm not super flexible in my hamstrings, so if you are, fantastic. Alrighty, and then taking the band off your foot. You're going to move all the way around onto all fours. So you're going to do something we haven't done for quite some time, which is cat camel or cat angry cat. So on all fours, fists if you need to. And what you want to do is tilt your pelvis, so you're arching your back and then arch exactly up the opposite way. So you're trying to keep your shoulders and hips still and all that movement from your pelvis as it tilts up and down. Do make sure you're looking down, not looking up. If you want to make it more advanced, as you tilt your pelvis down, you can look up to exaggerate that movement, but I don't generally bother, mainly because I'm so stiff.
Did you ride today?
No, unfortunately, I'm in isolation from a COVID test last night till I get a result, because from that exposure in East Bentley, someone came to see me who'd been at that centre, so until I get a negative test, I can't see other people, which I expect to get hopefully very shortly. I did discover something very useful in my car yesterday while sitting in a queue at Albert Park for an hour. I worked out that my mobile phone stand turns horizontal and I could watch Netflix show while sitting in the queue. Very helpful.
Yeah, very important info.
It was. Alrighty, this time doing a lat stretch, so arms just slightly forward, same position, but this time just sinking your bottom down, holding that where you get a stretch either in your bottom, in your low back, or in your armpits, and you want to hold that for a good 30 seconds or so. So nice long sustained stretch. Once again, let your head relax down. And then easing up. And again, if you're not comfortable on all fours, you can do this leaning against the bench or the back of a chair. Same thing, just crouching or squatting slightly to achieve the same stretch. Do a third one of those. And then back up. So then we'll go into threading the needle. You can use a weight, equally great exercise without a weight. I'm going to do it with a weight. Holding the weight in one hand, pushing the weight through or pushing your hand through, breathing out, opening up, breathing in, looking at your hand as you come up. So pushing through, breathing out, opening up, breathing in, making sure your knees are at least your pelvis width apart. And then swapping to the other hand, once again with or without the weight, breathing out, pushing through, breathing in, opening up, looking at your hand. Breathing out, pushing through, breathing in, opening up. Good noises. Alrighty, and then just popping that weight down for a moment, moving on to bird dog. So starting, the closer your knees and hands are together, the harder this exercise is. Opposite arm and leg right out. If you're struggling, only have it halfway or a quarter way. Hold it for a moment or three. Gently down and out. So if you're struggling, start with hands and or knees further apart. And don't go up as high either with arm and or leg. as you're coming up. Have legs well apart. Doesn't matter if you touch the ground. You can see I can't touch the ground. I'm sure some of you can. Let it just hang at the bottom if you're comfortable. If you're not comfortable, bend your knees a little bit. We'll take some of the strain off. If you're not comfy, you can do the same exercise sitting down. Do another one after this one. Alrighty, let's stay with still just the one weight. This time now the easiest position is feet apart. Next hardest is feet together. Third is feet one in front of the other, and the hardest of all is standing on one leg. So I'm going to demonstrate standing on one leg. With the single weight or liqueur bottle, whatever you've got handy, you want to bring the weight up to shoulder height in front, swap hands, and bring it down. Okay, so both hands go up, swapping the baton or the, as I say, the liqueur bottle in the middle.
When do you take the swig?
After the class. If you're standing on one leg, I strongly suggest don't drink alcohol quite yet. If your shoulders are sore, obviously just don't lift it up as high.
You're showing up and you're ready to shoot.
He hasn't got it.
It's all good.
All right.
Now, if you've got one foot in front of the other, let's swap the other foot around. If you're standing on one leg, we'll swap to standing on the opposite foot. Same again. Both arms up as high as is comfortable, swapping the weight right in front of you. As I lose my balance.
Where will I feel this?
Everywhere.
Okay.
It's mostly a core exercise, but you'll certainly feel in your shoulder depending on what weight. I'm using 2 kilos.
The lower back is killing me.
Well, that's the bit you're using. Your core's doing most of the balance work and the weight transfer. Okay. I'm just giving another time. Let's grab the band back this time. And what you want to do is hold the band near both ends, standing on the band in the middle. Now, the wider your feet are apart, the tighter it can become. We can hold it shorter. And you want, once you work out what I'm doing, you want to look ahead and you want to bring both arms up at the same time, trying to look straight ahead. Don't look down for this, because you'll feel all your back muscles, obviously as well as your biceps, will be engaged. Only lift up as high as is comfortable. You don't need to go all the way up to your shoulders as I'm demonstrating. You only go as high as is comfortable. I'm just going to move slightly to the side just for the next exercise. Okay, now this time what we're going to do is we're going to take arms out. So I don't know if you can see my hands. But as you take your arms out, open your hands out to face outwards. So you start with your palms facing you, take arms out and rotate your hands away, so you end up with your palms facing away from you. All right, so start with palms in, rotate out, and your shoulder blades will come together a little bit and gently back. Again, you don't need to take it very far to feel this. Again, depends, I guess, what color you're using. You certainly want to use at least green if you've got it for this one. Really make sure those shoulder and upper back muscles really work.
Or have a shorter band.
Sorry?
Or have a shorter
That's
band.
exactly right. Or hold the band shorter if you need to. You certainly want to make it work quite hard. Okay, so now again, you want the band reasonably tight. You can make it tighter. What I'm going to do is cross the band across in front. And what I'm going to do is just take one step to the side, step together. Back the other way, step together. Make sure you don't step on dog or cats, please. Remember, no animals were harmed in the making of this class. You should feel this one in the outside of your hips, maybe a little bit in your low back as well. You do want the band fairly tight, so as I said, just make it shorter or to a harder colour if you've got a selection. All right, now we'll pop the band down, just very aware of the time. So grabbing both weights this time, or both dumbbells if you've got them, and we're going to do a lunge with a lift. What I mean by that is you want to lunge forward, throw both arms up, come back, change feet, lunge forward, throwing arms up. If you're struggling with the weight, do it without a weight. By balance again. I'm going to try and do it slow and evenly. Sorry, can you see that screen? Okay, then just a couple of adductor or groin stretches. If you need something to balance on, you can have something in front, but feet apart and parallel. What you want to do is lunge to one side and take your weight onto that leg. Should feel a stretch on the opposite inside thigh. Once again, holding for a good 20-30 seconds. Lean on something, as I say, if you need to. And then we're going to lunge the other side again, leaving your feet still both pointing straight ahead. And then back the other way. We'll do 2 to each side, so one more after this one. And then last one of these. Now the last one's an ITB stretch. The ITB is the muscle down the outside of our thigh. So you want to cross your 1 foot behind your thigh. So I've got behind your foot. I've got my right foot behind my left foot, and I'm going to reach up with my right hand, and you should feel the stretch on the outside of your right hip. Okay, so my right foot's behind, reaching up with the right hand. So obviously it doesn't matter if you're doing the opposite. And then same, swapping the other foot behind. And again, I'm now reaching up with my left. You should feel that on the outside of the side you're reaching up with, in my case left. If you're losing your balance, do hang on to whatever's nearby. Please don't fall over.
It's harder on the other leg.
Yeah, we're all going to have one side tighter than the other. That's perfectly normal. And again, we're just going to repeat that, and then that will do us for the day. So last one, stretching opposite foot behind, reaching up, stretching the outside of your hip. You might feel it down the outside of your thorax or your trunk. Doesn't matter where you feel it. And then last one, just swapping that behind. And again, reaching up. Really lovely stretch. We've used your abductors with the crab, with the bands, so it's a nice way to stretch them at the end. Alrighty everyone, so I hope you all have a lovely weekend. Hopefully I'll get my test results shortly, which means I'll be able to ride outside, otherwise I'll be on my indoor trainer.
Thanks, Michael.
No worries, have a great weekend, and yeah, we'll be back here next Saturday because we're not coming out of this lockdown anytime soon. Alrighty.